The white limousine exploded off the cliff like a ghost swallowed by flames. Lieutenant Commander Derek Hayes slammed his brakes, his heart stopping as he watched the vehicle disappear into the ravine below. His German shepherd, Shadow, was already barking, already knowing something was terribly wrong. They descended together through the rain, man and dog, toward a burning wreckage that painted the night orange. Inside, Derek found her. A bride in blood-stained white satin, eyes wild with terror.
"Help me," she gasped. "My fiancé cut the brakes. He wants me dead for my money."
Derek pulled her out 3 seconds before the explosion. Before we continue, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and follow this story to the very end. I promise you, this one will stay with you forever. And drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels around the world. Derek Hayes hadn't slept in 4 days. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw their faces. Rodriguez, Chen, Williams, Kowalski, Martinez, his brothers, his team, all dead because someone sold them out. The rain hammered against his windshield as he drove deeper into the Blue Ridge Mountains. His father's cabin was still 20 miles up. 20 miles of nothing but darkness and the kind of silence Derek used to crave. Now silence just meant more time with the ghosts. Shadow whined from the passenger seat and pressed his nose against Derek's arm. "I know, buddy, I know." The German shepherd had been with him through everything. 3 combat tours, 17 successful operations, 1 catastrophic failure. Shadow still carried the scar across his left ear from the bullet that should have killed him. The bullet he'd taken for Derek. Now they were both on forced leave. "Take some time, Commander Hayes. Process what happened. Get your head right." Get his head right. As if watching 5 men die because someone sold them out was something you could just process over a long weekend. Derek was 35 years old. Short, dark brown hair that was growing out for the first time since boot camp. His Navy NWU Type 3 uniform was faded from too many washes. The green and brown digital camouflage pattern, the only thing he felt comfortable wearing anymore. The uniform meant something. It meant he was still a soldier, still had purpose. Without it, he was just another broken man with too many nightmares and not enough reasons to wake up. The mountain road twisted ahead, barely visible through the storm. Derek's hands tightened on the wheel. His father had died 3 years ago. Left him the cabin, left him nothing else. No explanation for why he'd drunk himself to death after Mom passed. No apology for the years of silence. Just an old cabin on a mountain and a note that said, "Find something worth fighting for, son." I never did. Derek was still looking. Shadow's ears pricked up suddenly. The dog sat straight, muscles tensing, a low growl building in his throat. "What is it?" Then Derek saw the headlights. They came around the curve too fast. A white stretch limousine that had no business being on this road in this weather. Derek eased toward the shoulder, giving the vehicle room to pass. But it didn't pass. The limousine fishtailed on the wet asphalt. Derek watched in horror as the driver overcorrected. The vehicle spun. Time slowed down the way it always did in combat. Every detail sharp. Every second stretched into eternity. The limousine hit the guardrail at 50 miles per hour. The metal gave way like paper. And then the car was gone, swallowed by the darkness beyond the cliff's edge. "No!" Derek was out of his truck before he consciously made the decision to move. Rain slashed at his face as he ran to the broken guardrail. Shadow was right beside him. He aimed his flashlight down into the ravine. 60 feet below, the limousine had crashed onto a rock outcropping, crumpled against a cluster of pine trees. Smoke poured from the engine, and even from here, Derek could smell it. Gasoline. A lot of gasoline. "Stay," he commanded, but Shadow was already starting down the slope. The dog knew what was at stake. They descended together, sliding through mud and loose rock. Derek's boots found purchase on roots and stones. His body moved on autopilot, while his mind calculated time and distance. The smell of fuel grew stronger with every foot of elevation they lost. When they reached the wreckage, the driver's side was completely crushed against a tree. No one could have survived that impact. But the rear of the vehicle was intact. Barely. Derek aimed his flashlight through the cracked rear window, and his heart stopped. A woman huddled on the floorboard, surrounded by shattered glass and deflated airbags. She wore a wedding dress, white satin that must have cost a fortune, now stained with blood and dirt. Her dark hair was plastered to her face with rain and sweat. Her eyes were wide with terror.
"Help me,"
she whispered.
"Please, help me."
Derek didn't hesitate. He tried the door. Jammed. He pulled out his tactical knife and smashed through the remaining glass, clearing the jagged edges with his gloved hands.
"I'm going to get you out. Can you move?"
"I don't know. I'm stuck. The seatbelt." "I've got you. Stay calm." Shadow barked sharply, circling the vehicle. The dog's nose was working overtime. Derek knew exactly what he was smelling. He looked under the car. Fuel dripping onto the hot exhaust manifold. Small flames were already licking at the undercarriage. They had seconds, maybe less. "We need to move, now." Derek reached in, his knife slicing through the jammed seatbelt in one clean motion. The woman cried out as he grabbed her arms. "I'm sorry, this is going to hurt. Push with your legs." "My dress, it's caught." "Leave it." He pulled. She screamed. The fabric tore as she came free, falling into his arms in an avalanche of ruined satin. Shadow was already running up the slope, barking urgently. Derek threw the woman over his shoulder and climbed. His muscles burned. His boots slipped on the wet rocks, but he didn't stop. Couldn't stop. The smell of burning fuel filled his nostrils. He knew the clock had run out. "Hold on!" He dove behind a boulder just as the world turned to fire. The explosion was deafening, a wall of heat and light that turned the rain to steam. Derek covered the woman with his body, shielding her from debris that rained down around them. When the roar faded to a crackling hiss, he looked up. The limousine was gone. In its place was a twisted skeleton of burning metal. "It's okay," Derek said, though his own heart was pounding hard enough to crack his ribs. "You're safe. You're safe now." But when he looked at the woman's face, he saw something that made his blood run cold. Not relief, not gratitude. Terror. Pure, absolute terror. "You don't understand," she whispered. "He's going to find me. He's going to finish what he started." Derek helped her sit up, checking for injuries, cuts on her arms, a gash on her forehead. Nothing life-threatening, but she was shaking so badly, her teeth chattered. "Who's going to find you? What happened?" "My fiancé." The word came out like poison. "Jonathan. He cut the brakes. I saw him do it, on the security camera before we left." "Your fiancé tried to kill you? On your wedding day?" "We were supposed to be married tonight. I was supposed to die on the way to our honeymoon." Shadow pressed close to the woman, a low growl in his throat. The dog could sense her fear, her trauma. He was trained to detect threats, and right now, the threat he sensed was everywhere. "Why would he want to kill you?" The woman laughed bitterly. "Because I'm worth $500 million, and dead wives don't ask questions about embezzlement." Derek stared at her. "Who are you?" "Victoria Sinclair. Tori. My father was Robert Sinclair. Sinclair Technologies." Derek recognized the name. Everyone recognized the name. Sinclair Technologies was one of the biggest defense contractors in the country, worth billions. Your father died 6 months ago. Left me everything. Tori's voice cracked. Jonathan was his VP, his trusted right hand. I thought he loved me. She started to cry. I thought he actually loved me. Derek let her cry. Let her release the shock and betrayal. Shadow lay down beside her, offering warmth and comfort. The dog understood trauma better than most humans. He'd seen enough of it. After a few minutes, Tori wiped her eyes.
I need to call the police.
No.
What?
Think about it. Your fiancé is the VP of a major defense contractor. He has money, connections, resources. Derek's mind was racing now, analyzing, planning, the way it always did when he encountered a threat. If he finds out you're alive, what's his next move? Tori went pale.
He'll try again.
Exactly. Right now, he thinks you're dead.
That's the only advantage we have.
We? Derek looked at the burning wreckage below, then at the woman beside him, then at Shadow, who was watching him with those steady amber eyes. The dog knew. He always knew. I didn't plan on getting involved in anything. I came up here to get away from the world. But I just pulled you out of a car your fiancé tried to kill you in. That makes this my problem now. Tori shook her head.
You don't understand what you're dealing with.
Jonathan isn't just rich. He has people. Dangerous people. If you help me, they'll come after you too. Lady, I've spent 14 years hunting the most dangerous people on Earth. Your boyfriend's hired muscle doesn't scare me. He looked at Shadow, and it definitely doesn't scare him. The dog's tail wagged once. Agreement. I have a cabin about 20 miles up the mountain. No cell service, no internet. No one knows it exists except me. You can stay there while we figure out your next move.
Why would you do this? You don't even know me.
Derek was quiet for a moment. Because 6 weeks ago, I watched 5 of my brothers die because someone we trusted sold us out. Someone with power. Someone with connections. Someone who thought they could get away with murder because the rules don't apply to people like them. His jaw tightened. I couldn't save my team. But maybe I can save you. Tori stared at him for a long moment. Then she nodded.
Okay, let's go.
They climbed back to the road. Derek's truck was still running, headlights cutting through the rain. He helped Tori into the passenger seat. Shadow jumped into the back. As Derek drove away from the burning wreckage, Tori pulled out her phone.
I need to check something.
I thought you said the security footage.
It's backed up to my father's private server. If I can access it...
She typed rapidly, then stopped. Her face went white. What is it? Jonathan. He reported my death 2 hours ago.
2 hours? The crash just happened.
Exactly. Tori's hands were shaking. He reported it before it happened, before the car even went off the cliff. Derek felt ice spread through his veins. He was that confident the brakes would fail.
He's already planning my funeral. Look.
She showed him the screen. A press release. Sinclair Technologies mourns the tragic loss of Victoria Sinclair, beloved daughter of founder Robert Sinclair, who died in a car accident en route to her honeymoon. Her fiancé, Jonathan Pierce, VP of Operations, will assume leadership of the company, per the late Mr. Sinclair's succession plan. Derek read it twice.
Succession plan? Did your father actually...
No. My father wanted me to run the company. He never trusted Jonathan with full control. Tori's voice hardened.
That document is forged. Jonathan must have been planning this for months, maybe years.
What about the board, your lawyers? The lawyers work for the company, and the board? Tori laughed bitterly. Jonathan has been charming them for years. They love him. They think I'm just a spoiled heiress who doesn't deserve her father's legacy. Do you? Deserve it? Know how to run a company? Tori met his eyes. I have an MBA from Wharton. I've been shadowing my father since I was 16. I know every department, every contract, every employee. Jonathan knows spreadsheets and handshakes. I know the actual work. Then why was he the VP and not you? Because my father wanted me to have a normal life first, fall in love, have experiences. He was going to transition me into leadership gradually. Her voice broke. He didn't know Jonathan was a snake. Neither did I. Not until tonight. Derek drove in silence for a few minutes, processing.
There's something else, Tori said suddenly. Something I didn't want to believe.
What?
Jonathan isn't working alone. There's a woman, Stephanie Cole. She's the CFO.
His accomplice?
His mistress.
Derek glanced at her. How do you know?
I didn't, not for sure, but I found emails last month, encrypted. I couldn't read them, but I saw the headers. Late-night messages, weekend meetings that weren't on any calendar.
Did you confront him?
I was going to,
after the wedding. I wanted to be sure before I accused him of anything. She laughed bitterly. Stupid, right? Giving him the benefit of the doubt while he was planning to kill me? You trusted someone you loved. That's not stupid. That's human. Tori was quiet for a moment. You sound like you know something about betrayal. Derek's hands tightened on the wheel. I know everything about betrayal. They drove the rest of the way in silence. The cabin appeared through the trees like a ghost. Small. Wooden. No electricity except a generator. No connection to the outside world. Perfect for hiding. Perfect for planning. Derek helped Tori inside, while Shadow swept the perimeter. Old habits. There's a first aid kit in the bathroom. Clean yourself up. I'll start a fire.
Derek?
He turned. Tori was standing in the doorway, her ruined wedding dress hanging in tatters, her face streaked with blood and tears.
Thank you.
For saving my life. For believing me. Don't thank me yet. We haven't done anything except run.
But you didn't have to run with me. You could have dropped me at a hospital, called the police, let someone else handle it.
And watch another innocent person die because someone with power decided they were expendable? Derek shook his head. Not again. Never again. Shadow returned from his patrol and lay down by the fireplace. His eyes never left Tori. Guard mode. The dog had made his decision. Tori was pack now. And Shadow protected his pack with his life. Derek started the fire, watching the flames catch and grow. Behind him, he heard Tori moving around the bathroom, water running, occasional soft sobs she probably thought he couldn't hear. He'd heard those sounds before, in villages overseas, in refugee camps, in the broken places where the powerful preyed on the vulnerable. He'd thought he was done with all of that, thought he could escape to a mountain and let the world burn without him. But the world had followed him. Or maybe he'd been meant to find it. His phone buzzed. No signal up here. But it was a notification from before he'd lost service. A message from his commanding officer. Hayes, we've identified the source of the Syria leak. Call me ASAP. Derek stared at the message. The source of the leak. The person who'd sold out his team. The reason Rodriguez, Chen, Williams, Kowalski, and Martinez were dead. He wanted to know. Needed to know. But he had no service, and he had a woman in his bathroom who needed his help more than he needed answers. Derek? Tori emerged, wearing clothes she'd found somewhere. His mother's old things, probably. She looked smaller now, younger, more vulnerable.
I found these. I hope you don't mind.
They were my mother's. She'd have wanted someone to use them. Tori sat down by the fire. Shadow immediately moved to lie at her feet. Your mother's gone? 5 years ago. Cancer. I'm sorry. Don't be. She's at peace, which is more than I can say for my father. Tori looked at him. What happened to your father? He drank himself to death after she died. Couldn't handle living without her. That's... Tori paused. That's actually kind of beautiful, in a tragic way. Nothing beautiful about watching someone choose death over life. Derek poked the fire. He left me this cabin, left me a note that said, find something worth fighting for. But he never told me what he'd found worth fighting for, or why he gave up. Maybe he found it and lost it. Maybe. They sat in silence, watching the flames. Shadow's breathing steadied. The dog was asleep. But Derek knew he'd wake at the slightest sound. What happens tomorrow? Tori asked. Tomorrow, we figure out what evidence you have, what can be proven, what can be used, and then? Then we take down your fiancé and everyone who helped him. Tori looked at him, really looked at him. You're serious? I'm a Navy SEAL. When we commit to a mission, we see it through. This isn't a military operation. Every battle is a military operation. Objectives, intelligence, strategy, execution. Your fiancé thinks he's won. He thinks you're dead, and he's getting away with murder. Derek's eyes hardened. He's wrong. Tori pulled her knees to her chest. You know what's funny? I thought tonight was going to be the happiest night of my life. I had the dress, the flowers, the perfect venue. And the whole time, he was planning to kill me. Some people are very good at pretending to be human. That's a dark way to look at it. I've been in dark places, seen dark things. After a while, you learn to recognize the monsters wearing human faces. Did you see it? In Jonathan? Derek considered the question. I never met him. But I see it in the way he operates. The forged documents. The press release before you were even dead. The mistress. The embezzlement. This isn't someone who snapped. This is someone who's been planning for years. My father trusted him. Your father was probably being manipulated too. Tori's eyes widened. You think Jonathan had something to do with my father's death? When did your father die? 6 months ago. Heart attack. Was there an autopsy? No, his doctor said it was natural. He'd had heart problems for years. His doctor. Who signs off on the company's medical insurance? Who approves the healthcare plans? Tori went pale. Stephanie, the CFO. Jonathan's mistress. The word hung in the air like smoke. Oh, God. Tori covered her mouth. You think they killed my father, too? I think we need to find out. Shadow's ears twitched. The dog raised his head, looking toward the window. Derek was on his feet instantly. What is it? Shadow growled. Low. Warning. Derek killed the lights, moved to the window. Outside, in the distance, headlights were moving up the mountain road. Were you expecting anyone? Tori whispered. No one knows about this place. The headlights grew closer, then stopped. About half a mile down the road, Derek watched as figures emerge from the vehicle. 3 of them, moving toward the cabin. They found us. How? How is that possible? Derek's mind raced. Then he saw it. Tori's phone, sitting on the table, still connected to her father's server. Your phone. When you accessed that server, you left a digital trail. But we don't have service up here. You don't need service to ping a location. The phone was searching for signal the whole drive. Anyone monitoring your account would see exactly where you went. Tori's face crumbled. I led them right to us. Not your fault. You didn't know. Derek grabbed his go bag from the closet. Weapons, ammunition, survival gear. He'd brought it out of habit. Now that habit might save their lives. Can you shoot? What? A gun. Can you use one?
My father taught me when I was younger.
Derek handed her a pistol. Safety's off. Point and shoot. Don't hesitate.
Derek, I can't just...
You can and you will, because if they get to you, they're not going to give you a second chance. Shadow was at the back door, alert, ready. There's a trail behind the cabin, goes up the mountain for about 2 miles, then connects to a fire road. My truck is parked behind the wood shed.
What about you?
I'm going to buy you some time. No, Derek, no. You can't fight 3 armed men alone. Derek smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. Lady, I'm a Navy SEAL. 3 armed men is a slow Tuesday. He loaded his rifle. Take Shadow. He'll protect you. Get to the fire road. Wait for me there. If I'm not there in 30 minutes, keep going. Don't look back.
Derek,
30 minutes. Promise me. Tori's eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. 30 minutes. Derek opened the back door. Shadow looked at him. The dog didn't want to leave. Every instinct screamed to stay and fight, but Derek gave the command. Protect. Shadow understood. He moved to Tori's side, ready to guide her through the darkness. Tori paused at the door.
Derek, come back.
I always do. She disappeared into the night. Shadow followed, and Derek turned to face the darkness. 3 men, armed, coming to finish what Jonathan Pierce had started. They had no idea what they were walking into. Derek Hayes had spent 14 years becoming death itself. Tonight, death had come home. Derek moved through the darkness like a ghost. 14 years of training had taught him how to become invisible, how to hunt without being hunted, how to kill without hesitation. The 3 men approaching the cabin had no idea they were already dead. They just didn't know it yet. Derek positioned himself behind an old oak tree, rifle steady against his shoulder. Night vision wasn't necessary. The moon had broken through the clouds, casting enough light to see their silhouettes. Professional formation, military spacing. These weren't ordinary thugs. Jonathan Pierce had sent real operators. Derek smiled grimly. Good. He hated killing amateurs. The first man reached the cabin's front porch. He signaled to the others. Standard breach protocol. 2 would enter, 1 would cover. Derek waited. Patience was a weapon. The most lethal weapon he possessed. The 2 lead men kicked in the door. They swept inside, flashlights cutting through the darkness. Clear! Clear! She's not here. The place is empty. The 3rd man lowered his weapon slightly. Mistake. Derek's bullet took him in the shoulder. Non-lethal. Intentional. He needed answers. The man went down screaming. The other 2 spun toward the sound, but Derek was already moving. A second shot disabled the nearest operative's weapon hand. The 3rd man managed to fire once before Derek was on him. Close quarters. Derek's specialty. The fight lasted 4 seconds. The man hit the ground unconscious. Derek zip-tied all 3 before they could recover. The one he'd shot in the shoulder was groaning, bleeding, but alive. Derek crouched beside him. Who sent you? Go to hell. Wrong answer. Derek pressed his thumb into the bullet wound. The man screamed. Who sent you? Pierce! Jonathan Pierce! Please, stop! How did you find us? The phone. We traced the phone signal. Who else knows she's alive? I don't know. I swear. We just got the coordinates and an order. What order? The man hesitated. Derek pressed harder. No witnesses. The order was no witnesses. Kill everyone. Derek released him, stood up, looked at the 3 men bleeding on the ground. In the old days, He would have put bullets in their heads and moved on. Cleaner that way. Safer. But something had changed in him. Something he couldn't name. He pulled out his phone. Still no signal. But he had another option. Derek retrieved a satellite phone from his go bag. Emergency use only. This qualified. He dialed a number from memory. 3 rings. "This better be important, Hayes." "Marcus, I need a favor." Marcus Chen, his former team's intelligence specialist, the only one who'd survived Syria because he'd been on medical leave. The only one who understood what Derek was going through. "You're supposed to be on leave, processing your feelings or whatever." Something came up. Define something. "I pulled a woman out of a car that was sabotaged by her fiancé. He's trying to kill her for her inheritance. He just sent 3 operators to my cabin to finish the job." Silence.
Derek, please tell me you're joking.
When have I ever joked?
Fair point. What do you need?
Information. The fiancé is Jonathan Pierce, VP of Sinclair Technologies. I need everything you can find on him. Financial records, known associates, any connection to criminal organizations.
Sinclair Technologies? The defense contractor?
That's the one.
Derek, that's a major company. They have government contracts, security clearances. If I start poking around...
Marcus, this woman's father was Robert Sinclair. He died 6 months ago. Heart attack. I think Pierce had him killed. More silence. You think this is connected to Syria? Derek's blood ran cold. What?
The leak. The one that got the team killed. We traced it to a CIA contractor named William Cole.
I got the message, couldn't call back, no service.
Derek, William Cole is Sinclair Technologies' government liaison. He's been with the company for 15 years.
Derek's mind raced. William Cole, Sinclair Technologies, Jonathan Pierce. What's Cole's connection to Pierce? I don't know yet. But here's the thing that's been bothering me. Cole's daughter works for Sinclair too. Let me guess. Stephanie Cole, the CFO. How did you know that? Because she's Pierce's mistress, and probably his partner in murder. Marcus exhaled sharply. Derek, this is bigger than a domestic dispute.
If Cole sold us out in Syria, and he's connected to Pierce, then the whole thing is a network. Pierce, Stephanie, William Cole, they've been running a criminal operation inside a defense contractor for years.
And anyone who gets in their way ends up dead. Derek looked at the 3 men on the ground. These operators, they're not random muscle. Check their IDs. I'll send you photos. You think they're connected to Cole's network? I think William Cole has access to the same mercenary contacts that got my team killed, and I think he's been using them to clean up messes, including your bride. She's not my bride. Whatever. Derek, you need backup. This is too big for one man. I have backup. Your dog doesn't count. Shadow's worth 10 operators and you know it. Marcus laughed despite the tension. Yeah, he is. Okay, I'm digging. But Derek, be careful.
If Cole finds out you're involved,
he'll send more men, I know. Let him. I've been looking for someone to blame for Syria. Now I have a target.
don't do anything stupid.
Define stupid.
Don't get killed before I get there.
You're coming?
Did you really think I'd let you take on a criminal network alone? I'll be there in 8 hours. Try not to die before then.
The line went dead. Derek pocketed the satellite phone. 8 hours. He could keep Tori alive for 8 hours. He secured the 3 operatives in the cabin's basement, then headed for the fire road. Shadow met him halfway. The dog was agitated, pacing. Something was wrong. Where's Tori? Shadow turned and ran. Derek followed. They found her crouched behind his truck, shaking. Tori, it's me.
She spun, gun raised, eyes wild. "Don't shoot, it's Derek!" Tori lowered the weapon slowly. Her hands were trembling. "I heard gunshots. I thought—" "I'm fine. They're not."
Did you kill them? No, I need them alive for information. Tori stared at him.
You just took out 3 armed men and you didn't kill any of them?
Killing is easy. Information is valuable. He helped her to her feet. We need to move. More will come.
Where?
I have a friend. He's 8 hours out. Until then, we keep moving. They got in the truck. Shadow jumped in the back. Derek started driving. No headlights. He knew these roads by memory.
Derek. Yeah? Those men, who were they?
Professionals. Military trained. Probably mercenaries.
Jonathan has access to mercenaries?
Not Jonathan. William Cole.
Tori went still. How do you know that name?
My friend Marcus just told me. Cole is Sinclair's government liaison. Has been for 15 years.
I know who he is. He's Stephanie's father.
I know. And he's also the man responsible for killing my team in Syria.
Tori's face went white. What?
6 weeks ago, my team was ambushed because someone sold our location to the enemy. We traced the leak to a CIA contractor named William Cole.
That can't be.
It is. Cole has been selling intelligence to foreign organizations for years, using Sinclair Technologies as cover. And now I know he's not working alone. Tori was silent for a long moment.
Jonathan knew. He must have known. They're all working together.
Pierce, Stephanie, William Cole, a family business of betrayal and murder.
My father trusted all of them. He brought them into the company.
Her voice broke.
They killed him. They killed my father and pretended to mourn at his funeral. And then they started planning to kill me.
Derek reached over and took her hand. Instinct. He wasn't good at comfort. Didn't know the right words. But he knew how to be present. How to let someone know they weren't alone. Tori squeezed his hand and didn't let go. They drove through the night. At dawn, Derek pulled into an abandoned ranger station he'd discovered years ago. Hidden, defensible, a good place to regroup. Tori was exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes, pale skin. The adrenaline had worn off. Reality was setting in. You need to sleep.
I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see the car going over the cliff.
Then keep your eyes open, but rest. Your body needs it. Tori lay down on an old cot.
Shadow immediately positioned himself beside her.
Guard dog. Protector. The role he'd been born for.
Derek?
Yeah?
Why are you doing this? Really?
Derek was quiet for a moment. Because I couldn't save my team. I watched 5 of my brothers die because someone betrayed us. Someone who's still out there, still breathing, still getting away with murder. He looked at her. When I pulled you out of that car, I didn't know any of this. I just saw someone who needed help. Someone who was going to die if I didn't act. But now you know. Now I know. And it changes everything.
How?
Because this isn't just about saving you anymore. It's about justice. For you. For my team. For everyone these people have hurt. Tori was quiet for a long moment. My father used to say that real strength isn't about power. It's about using whatever power you have to protect people who can't protect themselves. Your father sounds like a wise man.
He was. He was the best man I ever knew.
Her eyes filled with tears.
And they killed him. They killed him and took everything he built.
Not everything. You're still alive. You're still fighting. That means they haven't won yet. Tori wiped her eyes.
You really think we can beat them?
A Navy SEAL and a tech heiress against a criminal network with unlimited resources?
Derek smiled. I've faced worse odds.
And won?
Usually.
Usually isn't very reassuring.
It's the best I've got. Despite everything, Tori laughed. It was a broken sound, but it was real. Get some sleep, Derek said. I'll keep watch. Tori closed her eyes. Shadow's breathing steadied. Within minutes, both were asleep. Derek sat by the window, rifle across his knees, watching, waiting, thinking about William Cole, the man who'd sold out his team, the man who'd helped plan Tori's murder, the man who was about to learn that some debts couldn't be paid with money.
Some debts could only be paid in blood.
6 hours later, Marcus Chen arrived. Derek heard the vehicle approaching and was outside before it stopped. Marcus stepped out, looking exactly like Derek remembered. Lean, sharp-eyed, the kind of man you wanted covering your back. "You look like hell," Marcus said. "You drove 8 hours to tell me that?" "I drove 8 hours because my best friend called me for help for the first time in 15 years. They embraced. Brothers, not by blood, by something stronger. "What have you got?" Derek asked. Marcus pulled out a tablet. "Everything, and it's worse than we thought." They went inside. Tori was awake now, Shadow alert at her side. "Tori, this is Marcus Chen. He's the one who traced the Syria leak." Tori nodded warily. "You can trust him," Derek said. "He saved my life more times than I can count." 15, Marcus said. "I've been keeping track." He set the tablet on the table. "Okay, here's what I found. Jonathan Pierce has been embezzling from Sinclair Technologies for 3 years. Conservative estimate, $80 million, funneled through shell companies in the Caymans and Switzerland." Tori's face hardened. "I knew he was stealing. I couldn't prove it." "It gets worse. Stephanie Cole has been cooking the books to cover his tracks. She's good. Really good. But I'm better." Marcus swiped to the next screen. William Cole, the patriarch. He's been selling classified intelligence to foreign entities for over a decade. The Syria operation was just one of many. He gets paid through a network of offshore accounts that trace back to Sinclair Technologies, Derek finished. "Bingo. The company is the money laundering machine. Pierce runs operations. Stephanie handles the books. Cole provides the intelligence. It's a family business of treason." Tori stood up abruptly. "My father built that company from nothing. He dedicated his life to it. And these people turned it into a front for criminals?" "I'm sorry," Marcus said. "There's more." "How can there be more?" "Your father's death. I pulled his medical records. The official cause was heart attack. But the autopsy showed elevated levels of potassium chloride in his bloodstream." Derek's jaw tightened. Murder weapon of choice for people who wanted to look natural. His personal physician signed off on it. That physician is married to Stephanie Cole's college roommate. Tori sank back into her chair. "They killed him. They actually killed him." "They killed him to accelerate the succession plan. With you out of the way, Pierce becomes CEO. Cole continues his intelligence operation with no oversight. Everyone profits. Except my father. And me." Marcus nodded grimly. "Except you." Derek had been silent, processing. "What's our play? We have evidence. How do we use it? That's the problem. All of this is circumstantial. Good enough to investigate, not good enough to prosecute. We need something definitive. A confession, documentation, something they can't deny." Tori looked up. "I might have something." "What?" "My father's personal server, the one I accessed last night. He kept files on everyone at the company.
He was paranoid. Always said, trust, but verify. What kind of files? I don't know. I never looked.
He told me if anything ever happened to him, I should check the server. But I was so lost in grief, I never did.
Derek leaned forward. Can you access it from here?
If I have internet, and if Jonathan hasn't locked me out of the system, Marcus smiled. Internet I can provide, and if they've locked you out, I can get you back in. Tori nodded slowly.
Let's do it.
30 minutes later, they were in. Robert Sinclair's private server contained thousands of files. Financial records, emails, surveillance footage, and one folder labeled Insurance. Tori clicked on it. Inside was a video file, dated 2 weeks before Robert Sinclair's death. She pressed play. Robert Sinclair appeared on screen. Older than Derek had expected. Tired, but his eyes were sharp. Tori, if you're watching this, something has happened to me. I hope I'm just being paranoid. But if I'm not, you need to know the truth. Tori covered her mouth with her hand. I've discovered that Jonathan Pierce has been stealing from the company. Millions of dollars. He's working with Stephanie Cole and her father William. What they're doing goes beyond embezzlement. They're selling classified information to foreign governments. Robert's voice cracked. I wanted to go to the authorities, but William has connections everywhere. FBI, CIA, DOD. I don't know who to trust. So I'm trusting you, sweetheart. All the evidence is in this folder. Use it. Expose them. And whatever you do, don't marry Jonathan. He doesn't love you. He never did. He's been using you to get closer to the company. To me. A tear slipped down Tori's cheek. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you better. I'm sorry I brought these people into our lives. But you're stronger than you know, Tori. You have my brain and your mother's heart. Use both. Robert reached toward the camera. I love you, sweetheart, more than anything in this world. Make me proud. The video ended. The room was silent. Tori was crying. Shadow pressed against her legs, whimpering. Derek put his hand on her shoulder. He knew. He knew everything, and he was trying to protect you. He was alone, fighting them alone, and they killed him for it. Marcus was already downloading files. This is it. This is everything we need. Financial records, wire transfers, communications with foreign agents, names, dates, account numbers. Derek, this is enough to bring down the whole network. Derek looked at Tori. Your father gave us the weapon. Now we use it. Tori wiped her eyes. Her grief was still there, but something else was emerging. Something harder. Stronger. I want to see their faces. When they realize it's over, I want them to know that my father won, that I won, that they didn't get away with it. They will, I promise. Marcus closed the tablet. I have a contact at the FBI, someone I trust completely. Captain Sarah Reyes. She's been building a case against William Cole for years, but could never get enough evidence. Call her. Already did. She's on her way. 12 hours. Derek nodded. Then we have 12 hours to stay alive. As if on cue, Shadow's ears pricked up. The dog moved to the window, growled. They found us again, Derek said. We need to move. How do they keep tracking us? Marcus checked his equipment. The satellite phone. They must have the frequency. Every time we use it, they triangulate our position. Then we go dark. No electronics, no communications. Tori grabbed the tablet with her father's files. This comes with us. Agreed. Marcus, you know the extraction protocol? Split up. Rendezvous at Rally Point Charlie. 12 hours. Let's move. They slipped out the back as vehicles approached from the front. 3 different directions, 3 different paths. One mission. survive until help arrived. Derek took Tori. Shadow stayed with them. Marcus went solo. As they disappeared into the forest, Derek heard the ranger station doors being kicked in. Shouts, gunfire. "Keep moving," he whispered. "Don't look back." Tori didn't look back. She just ran. And somewhere in the darkness, William Cole was learning that some targets were harder to kill than expected. Some targets fought back. They ran through the forest for 3 hours. No rest, no stopping, just movement.
Shadow led the way, his instincts guiding them through terrain that would have been impossible to navigate alone. Derek kept his hand on Tori's arm, steadying her when she stumbled, pulling her forward when exhaustion tried to claim her. "I can't," she gasped. "I can't keep going." "Yes, you can. Derek, please." "They will kill you if they catch you. They will torture you first, to find out what you know, and then they will kill you." "Is that what you want?" Tori's eyes flashed with anger. Good. Anger was fuel. "No." "Then keep moving." They kept moving. Dawn broke over the mountains. Derek found a small cave hidden behind a waterfall of rocks and vegetation. "We rest here. 30 minutes. Tori collapsed against the stone wall. Her wedding dress was gone now, replaced by Derek's spare clothes, but she still looked like a bride. A bride who'd walked through hell and survived. "Where's Marcus?" "He'll be at the rally point. He knows what he's doing." "What if they caught him?" "They didn't." "How do you know?" "Because Marcus Chen is the best intelligence operative I've ever worked with. If he doesn't want to be found, he won't be found." Tori pulled her knees to her chest. "I keep thinking about my father. That video. He knew, Derek. He knew they were going to kill him, and he couldn't stop it. He left you the tools to finish what he started." "What if I can't? What if they win?" Derek crouched in front of her. "Look at me." She looked. 24 hours ago, you were supposed to be dead. You were supposed to be at the bottom of a ravine, burned beyond recognition. And Jonathan Pierce was supposed to be mourning his beloved fiancée while he took over your company. His voice hardened. Instead, you're alive. You have evidence that will destroy them. And you have me. One Navy SEAL against a criminal network. One Navy SEAL, one German Shepherd, and one very angry heiress. Despite everything, Tori smiled. That's a strange team. Strange teams win strange battles. Shadow lifted his head suddenly, alert, ears forward. Derek was on his feet instantly. "What is it?" The dog growled, low, dangerous. Then Derek heard it. Voices, distant but approaching. "They found us." "How is that possible? We left everything behind." Derek's mind raced. They'd abandoned the satellite phone. The tablet was offline. There was no way to track them unless... He looked at Tori. "Your ring." "What?" "Your engagement ring. Is it still on?" Tori looked at her hand. The massive diamond still glittered on her finger. "I forgot. I didn't even think." "Take it off, now." Tori pulled at the ring. It wouldn't budge. "It's stuck. It won't." "Hold still." Derek pulled out his knife. Tori's eyes went wide. "Trust me." She held still. Derek used the blade to apply soap from his survival kit, then worked the ring off gently. He examined it closely. There, embedded in the band, a tiny tracking chip. "He's been monitoring you, probably for months." Tori stared at the ring. "He gave me this on our 6-month anniversary. Said it belonged to his grandmother." "It belonged to a surveillance company. This is military-grade tracking technology." Derek crushed the chip under his boot. "They'll know we found it, but at least now, they're blind." The voices were getting closer. "We need to move. Different direction this time." Shadow was already leading the way. They emerged from the cave and headed east, away from their original path. But Derek knew the truth.
They were running out of places to run. Sooner or later, they'd have to stop running and start fighting. 4 hours later, they reached the rally point, an abandoned hunting lodge deep in the mountains. Marcus was already there, alive, uninjured, and he wasn't alone. A woman stood beside him, tall, mid-40s, the bearing of someone who'd spent decades in law enforcement. "Derek, this is Captain Sarah Reyes, FBI Organized Crime Unit." Derek assessed her quickly. Sharp eyes, no-nonsense posture. A weapon holstered at her hip. "You got here fast." "I've been building a case against William Cole for 3 years. When Marcus called with actual evidence, I commandeered a helicopter." She stepped forward and extended her hand. Derek shook it. "What do you have?" Marcus pulled out the tablet. "Everything. Financial records, communications, proof of intelligence sales. It's all here." Reyes took the tablet and started scrolling. Her expression grew grimmer with each file. "This is it. This is what I've needed. With this, I can get warrants for Pierce, both Coles, and everyone in their network." "How long?" "I can have arrest teams mobilized in 4 hours." Tori stepped forward. 4 hours? They have men hunting us right now. We might not have 4 hours. "Then we need to draw them out," Derek said. "Make them come to us on our terms." "How?" "Bait." Everyone looked at him. "Tori goes public, announces she's alive, calls a press conference." "That's suicide," Marcus said. "They'll send everyone they have." "Exactly. And while they're focused on her, the FBI moves in." Reyes nodded slowly. "It could work. If we control the location,
If we have enough agents in place.
I have a better idea," Tori said. All eyes turned to her. "The board meeting. It's today, noon. Jonathan is presenting his succession plan. He's going to officially become CEO." "And?" "What if I walked in front of the entire board, the press, everyone? What if I announced that I'm alive and that my fiancée tried to murder me?" Derek considered it. "It's risky." "It's perfect. Jonathan won't be expecting it. Stephanie will be there."
The whole company will see them react. And if the FBI is waiting outside,
"We catch them all in one net," Reyes finished. "Ms. Sinclair, I have to advise against this. It's dangerous." "My father built that company. Jonathan Pierce turned it into a criminal enterprise. I'm taking it back." Derek looked at Tori. This wasn't the same woman he pulled from a burning car. That woman had been terrified, broken. This woman was something else entirely. A warrior. "Okay," Derek said.
we do it your way. But I'm with you, every step."
"And Shadow?" The dog's tail wagged at his name. "Shadow, too. He's the best protection you'll ever have." Tori knelt beside the German Shepherd. "Think you can handle a boardroom, boy?" Shadow licked her face. That was a yes. 3 hours later, they were in position. Sinclair Technologies headquarters, a gleaming tower of glass and steel in downtown Richmond. Derek wore a security uniform he'd borrowed from an actual guard.
Shadow had a service dog vest that Marcus had produced from somewhere. Tori had transformed herself. Hair styled, makeup applied, a power suit that Reyes had provided. She looked like a CEO. She looked like her father's daughter. "You ready?" Derek asked. "No, but I'm doing it anyway." That's the definition of courage. Tori took a deep breath. If something goes wrong, nothing's going to go wrong. But if it does, thank you for saving my life, for believing me, for everything. Derek wanted to say something profound, something meaningful, but words had never been his strength. So he just said, "Don't thank me yet. We haven't won." Tori smiled. "We will. She walked toward the entrance. Derek and Shadow followed. The lobby was chaos. Press everywhere. Security guards trying to maintain order. Everyone waiting for the big announcement. Jonathan Pierce becomes CEO, the next chapter of Sinclair Technologies. If only they knew. Derek spotted Reyes's agents positioned throughout the building, disguised as reporters, maintenance workers, corporate employees. The trap was set. Now they just needed the prey. Tori walked straight to the security desk. "I'm here for the board meeting." The guard looked at her, did a double take. "Miss Sinclair, but you're..." "Dead? Rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated." She smiled. Cold. Dangerous. "Now please, let me through. I have a company to run." The guard stammered into his radio. Within seconds, the news spread through the building like wildfire. "Victoria Sinclair is alive! Victoria Sinclair is here! Victoria Sinclair is back!" Derek watched the reactions ripple through the crowd. Shock, confusion, and from certain faces, unmistakable fear. The boardroom was on the 40th floor. Derek and Tori took the elevator alone. Shadow stood between them. "Nervous?" "Terrified." "Good. Fear keeps you sharp." The elevator doors opened. Jonathan Pierce stood at the head of the conference table, mid-presentation. A chart showing the future of Sinclair Technologies displayed behind him. He turned at the sound. His face went white. "Tori?" "Hello, Jonathan. Miss me?" The room erupted. Board members shouting, assistants scrambling, cameras flashing from the press gallery. Jonathan recovered quickly. Too quickly. "Tori! Oh my God! You're alive!" He rushed toward her, arms outstretched. Derek stepped between them. "That's close enough." "Who the hell are you?" "Her security." "I'm her fiancé." "You're the man who tried to kill her." The room went silent. Jonathan's expression flickered, just for a second. But Derek saw it. Calculation. Deciding how to spin this. "Tori, darling, you must be confused. The accident, the trauma." "I'm not confused, Jonathan. I watched you cut the brakes on the security camera. I saw the look on your face when you did it." "That's insane. Why would I?" "Because I'm worth $500 million. Because you've been stealing from my father's company for 3 years. Because you and your mistress have been planning this since the day we met." Stephanie Cole stood up from her seat at the table. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. "This is ridiculous. Victoria is obviously suffering from..." "Sit down, Stephanie." Tori's voice cut through the room like a blade. "Or should I call your father? William Cole, the man who's been selling classified intelligence to foreign governments using my company as a front." The color drained from Stephanie's face. "How do you..." "My father knew everything. He left me proof, financial records, communications, everything." Tori looked at the board. "You've all been working for criminals. Maybe you knew, maybe you didn't. But it ends today." Jonathan's mask finally cracked. "You should have died in that car." The words hung in the air. Every camera captured them. Every microphone recorded them. Jonathan realized his mistake too late. "I meant, FBI! Nobody move!" Agents flooded the room. Reyes led them, badge raised. "Jonathan Pierce, you're under arrest for attempted murder, embezzlement, and conspiracy to commit fraud. Stephanie Cole, you're under arrest for accessory to murder and money laundering." Jonathan tried to run. Shadow intercepted him. 80 pounds of military-trained German Shepherd hit him like a missile. Jonathan went down hard. Shadow stood over him, teeth bared, growling. "Call off your dog!" Derek walked over slowly. "He's not a dog. He's a Navy SEAL. And you just confessed to trying to murder his pack." Jonathan looked up at him with pure hatred. "You have no idea who you're dealing with.
William Cole has connections everywhere. You'll never... William Cole was arrested 30 minutes ago.
Along with everyone in his network.
Reyes smiled grimly. We've been busy. Jonathan's face crumbled. The arrogance, the confidence, the certainty that he was untouchable. All gone. Replaced by the face of a man who'd just realized he'd lost everything. Agents hauled him to his feet, read him his rights, led him out in handcuffs. Stephanie followed, crying now. The Ice Queen finally melted. Tori watched them go. Derek moved to stand beside her. It's over.
Is it? The arrests are done. The evidence is secured.
They're going to prison for a very long time. Tori turned to face the board, the men and women who'd been ready to hand her company to a criminal. This board meeting is adjourned. Effective immediately, I'm assuming the role of CEO. Anyone who has a problem with that can submit their resignation by end of business today. No one objected. Derek smiled. I think they got the message. Tori looked at him, exhausted.
Triumphant. Beautiful. I couldn't have done this without you. Yes, you could. You just didn't know it yet. Shadow pressed between them, tail wagging. Tori laughed and knelt to hug the dog. And you, my furry guardian angel. Shadow licked her face enthusiastically. Marcus appeared in the doorway. Sorry to interrupt the moment, but we've got a problem. Derek's instincts snapped to attention. What kind of problem? William Cole. He's not at the arrest location.
The agents found his house empty. He ran? Worse, he left a message, addressed to you. Marcus handed Derek a phone. On the screen was a video. Derek pressed play. William Cole appeared, older than Derek expected, distinguished. The kind of man you'd trust with your life. The kind of man who'd sell your life for profit. Lieutenant Commander Hayes, I understand you've been interfering in my business. I want you to know that I respect your skills. Your team in Syria fought bravely. It's a shame they had to die. Derek's jaw clenched. But business is business. And you've cost me a great deal of money. So now I'm going to cost you something in return. Cole smiled. Cold. Empty. I know where your father's cabin is. I know about the woman. I know about the dog. And in approximately 2 hours, I'm going to burn everything you care about to the ground. The video ended. Derek looked at Tori, at Shadow, at everything he'd found worth fighting for.
He's coming for us. Let him come, Tori said.
This isn't a boardroom, Tori. This is William Cole. He's sold out my team. He's killed dozens of people. He has nothing left to lose. Neither do I, she met his eyes. He killed my father. He tried to kill me. He's been destroying lives for years. It ends tonight, Derek, one way or another. Derek looked at Shadow. The dog's eyes were steady, ready, waiting for the command. Okay, Derek said. Let's finish this.
They arrived at the cabin 2 hours before sunset.
Derek had pushed the truck to its limits on the mountain roads. No time for caution. No time for careful planning. William Cole was coming. And this time, Derek would be ready. Marcus, what's our asset situation? Reyes is mobilizing a tactical team. ETA 90 minutes. We might not have 90 minutes. Then we hold until they arrive. Tori grabbed Derek's arm. I'm not hiding. Not again. This isn't hiding. This is strategic positioning. It's the same thing. No, it's not. Hiding is fear. This is smart. Shadow was already out of the truck, nose to the ground, circling the perimeter. The dog stopped suddenly, ears forward, hackles raised. They're already here, Derek said quietly. How many? Shadow says more than a few. As if in answer, a voice echoed from the tree line.
Lieutenant Commander Hayes!
William Cole stepped into the clearing. He was alone, but Derek knew better. The woods were full of his men. I was hoping we could talk before the unpleasantness begins. Derek positioned himself in front of Tori. Talk? You killed 5 of my men. You tried to kill the woman behind me. What's left to talk about? Business, Commander. It's always about business. Cole walked closer, confident, unhurried. A man who believed he'd already won. You've caused me significant problems. Jonathan and Stephanie are in custody. My financial network is compromised. Years of work destroyed in a matter of hours. Sounds like you should have picked better partners. Cole smiled. Perhaps. But here's the interesting thing about business. When one door closes, another opens. What door? You, Commander. Your skills, your training, your complete disregard for conventional morality. Derek's eyes narrowed. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you a future. The world is full of people who need men like you. Men who can solve problems. Men who aren't constrained by rules or conscience. You mean men who murder innocent people for money. I mean pragmatists. Derek laughed, cold, harsh. You really don't understand, do you? You think everyone has a price. You think loyalty is just another word for not enough money. Am I wrong? My team died because of you. Rodriguez had 3 kids. Chen was getting married. Williams was going to be a father. You took them from this world like they were nothing. They were soldiers. Soldiers die. It's what they're for. Derek felt rage building in his chest. The same rage that had kept him awake for 6 weeks. The same rage that had driven him to this mountain. Let me tell you what soldiers are for, Cole. We protect people who can't protect themselves. We stand between monsters like you and the innocent people you prey on. He stepped forward. We're the line you shouldn't have crossed. Cole's smile faded. You're making a mistake, Commander. I have 15 men in these woods. You have a dog and a woman who can barely hold a gun. How do you think this ends? With you in handcuffs or a body bag? Your choice. Cole sighed. I'd hoped for a more civilized resolution. He raised his hand. Signal. Men emerged from the trees. 12, 14. Derek counted 16 before he stopped. All armed. All positioned for a kill box. Last chance, Commander. Join me or die with your friends. Derek looked at Tori. She was pale, scared, but standing tall. Then he looked at Shadow. The dog was coiled, ready, waiting for the command. Shadow, one word. The dog exploded into motion. 80 pounds of fury launched at the nearest gunman. The man screamed and went down. Derek moved simultaneously. His first shot disabled one operative. His second dropped another. Tori, run! She didn't run. She raised her weapon and fired. The shot went wide, but it distracted a shooter long enough for Derek to neutralize him. I said run. I said no. Chaos erupted, gunfire everywhere. Derek fought on instinct. Move, shoot, cover, repeat. Shadow was a demon in the darkness, appearing, striking, vanishing. The dog had been trained for this. Combat, chaos, protecting his handler. 3 men down, 5, 7, but more kept coming. Derek took a bullet to his vest. The impact knocked him back. He recovered, returned fire. 2 more down. Then he saw Cole. The old man was retreating toward a waiting helicopter, running, like the coward he was. Marcus! I see him! Marcus emerged from cover, weapon raised. He fired. The helicopter pilot slumped. The aircraft wasn't going anywhere. Cole turned, desperation finally showing on his face.
This isn't over, Hayes. Yes, it is. Derek advanced on him. Slow, deliberate. The remaining operatives were down, dead or disabled.
Shadow guarded them with bloody teeth. Cole reached for a weapon. Derek shot it from his hand. The old man screamed in pain. "My men in Syria, did they beg?" "What? When your information got them killed, did they beg for their lives?" Cole clutched his bleeding hand. They were assets, expendable assets. Derek put his gun to Cole's head. "Wrong answer." "Derek," Tori's voice, quiet, firm. "Don't. He killed my team. And if you kill him, you become him." "I'm nothing like him." "Then prove it. Let the law handle him. Let him rot in prison for the rest of his miserable life. Death is too easy." Derek's finger tightened on the trigger. Every instinct screamed for vengeance, for justice, for the faces that haunted his dreams. Rodriguez, Chen, Williams, Kowalski, Martinez. They deserved better than a quick death for their killer. They deserved justice. Real justice. Derek lowered his weapon. "You're right. He doesn't deserve the honor of a soldier's death." He grabbed Cole by the collar and threw him to the ground. "You're going to prison, old man, and every day for the rest of your life, you're going to remember this moment. The moment you realized you lost everything." Cole looked up at him with pure hatred. "You think this changes anything? There are others like me, everywhere. You can't stop all of us." "Maybe not, but I stopped you." The sound of helicopters filled the air, FBI tactical teams, finally arriving. Reyes was the first on the ground. "Status? 16 hostiles neutralized. William Cole in custody." Reyes looked at the carnage around them. The bodies, the blood, the broken weapons. 3 people did this? 3 people and a very good dog. Shadow limped over to Derek, blood on his fur, a cut on his side, but alive. Derek dropped to his knees and wrapped his arms around the dog. "You brave, stupid, wonderful animal." Shadow licked his face. "Worth it." That's what the gesture said. Every wound worth it to protect the pack. Tori appeared beside them, tears streaming down her face. "Is he okay?" "He needs a vet, but he's alive." "What about you?" Derek touched his chest. The vest had stopped the bullet, but the bruise would be spectacular. "I'll live." "You almost didn't. You almost died for me." "Wouldn't be the first time I almost died for someone worth saving." Tori knelt beside him. "I'm worth saving?" "You're worth everything." The words came out before Derek could stop them, before he could analyze, before he could retreat behind his walls. Tori's hand found his. "So are you, Derek. So are you." The next 48 hours were a blur of debriefings, medical examinations, and media chaos. William Cole was charged with treason, murder, and enough federal crimes to guarantee he'd never see freedom again. Jonathan Pierce and Stephanie Cole faced their own charges. The evidence from Robert Sinclair's server was devastating. Financial records, communications, proof of decades of criminal activity. None of them would ever hurt anyone again. Derek sat in a hospital waiting room while Shadow underwent surgery. The cut on his side had been deeper than he'd thought. Internal damage. The vet said he'd recover, but it would take time. Marcus sat beside him. "Hell of a week." "Yeah, what are you going to do now?" "What do you mean?" "Your leave is almost over. Command's been calling. They want you back." Derek was quiet for a moment. "I don't know if I'm going back." "What?" "I've been a soldier my whole adult life. I've followed orders, completed missions,
done what I was told without question. You're the best there is, Derek. Maybe. But what's it for? I've killed hundreds of people. I've watched friends die.
I've sacrificed everything for a uniform and a flag. That uniform means something. Does it? Cole wore a government badge too. He had security clearances. He was part of the same system I served. Marcus didn't have an answer for that. I'm tired, Marcus. Tired of fighting wars for people who don't care about the soldiers fighting them. Tired of being a weapon instead of a person. So what do you want to be? Derek thought about Tori, about Shadow, about the feeling he'd had when he pulled her from that burning car. Not duty, not obligation. Purpose. I want to protect people, not because someone ordered me to, because I choose to. That's not nothing, brother. No, it's not. The vet emerged, young, tired, but smiling. Shadow came through surgery fine. He's going to need several weeks of recovery, but he'll make a full return. Derek exhaled. He hadn't realized he'd been holding his breath. Can I see him? He's still sedated, but yes, I think he'd want you there when he wakes up. Derek found Shadow in a small recovery room. The dog was lying on a padded mat, eyes closed, breathing steady. Derek sat beside him and took his paw. You saved her, buddy. You saved all of us. Shadow's tail twitched. He was dreaming, probably chasing rabbits. Or terrorists. With Shadow, it could go either way. I've been thinking about what comes next, for both of us. The dog's ears moved slightly, listening even in sleep. I'm not going back to the teams. I can't. Not after everything. Derek stroked Shadow's fur. But I'm not done fighting either. There are people out there who need protection. People like Tori. People who've been targeted by monsters in expensive suits. Shadow's tail wagged weakly. Approval. What do you say, buddy? Want to start a new mission? You and me. Protecting people who can't protect themselves. Shadow opened one eye, looked at Derek, then closed it again. That was a yes. Tori found him there an hour later. The vet said he'd be okay. He's a fighter. Like his owner. Derek looked up at her. She'd changed out of the blood-stained clothes, showered, put herself back together. But her eyes were different. Softer. Warmer. I spoke to the board, she said. And? They accepted my leadership. Unanimously. After everything? After everything. Turns out, walking into a firefight and surviving tends to impress corporate executives. Derek smiled. So you're officially CEO? I'm officially CEO, which means I have the authority to make some changes. What kind of changes? Tori sat beside him. My father built Sinclair Technologies to help people. Jonathan and the Coles corrupted that mission. I want to get back to it. How? I want to create a new division. Security services for people who've been targeted by powerful enemies. Domestic abuse survivors. Whistleblowers. Anyone who needs protection from the kind of monsters we just took down. Derek stared at her. You want to create a protection service. I want to create a family. A team of people who believe in something bigger than profit. And you want me to run it. It wasn't a question. Tori nodded. You have the skills, the training, the heart. And you have something else that matters even more. What's that? You know what it feels like to be betrayed, to lose everything, to have no one to turn to. She took his hand. The people we'd help, they need someone who understands. Someone who won't judge them. Someone who'll fight for them the way you fought for me. Derek looked at Shadow, then at Tori, then at the future stretching out before him. I'd need a team. Good people. People I trust. Marcus already said yes. You asked him before you asked me? I'm a CEO. I do my research.
Derek laughed. For the first time in weeks, genuine laughter. Okay, I'm in. Tori smiled. Just like that? Just like that. Don't you want to negotiate? Talk about salary? Benefits? I don't care about money. What do you care about? Derek thought about it. Really thought about it. Doing something that matters. Being part of something bigger than myself. Waking up every day knowing that what I do makes a difference. That's what I'm offering. Then that's what I'm accepting. Tori squeezed his hand. There's one more thing. What? I'd like you to stay. At the company. But also... She hesitated. Also what? Also, with me. Derek's heart stopped. Tori, I know it's fast. I know we've only known each other for 3 days. I know I was supposed to marry someone else less than a week ago. Her eyes filled with tears. But in those 3 days, you've shown me more kindness, more courage, more genuine care than Jonathan showed me in 3 years. You risked your life for me. A stranger. Someone you had no reason to save. I had every reason. What reason? Derek reached up and touched her face. Because the moment I saw you in that car, something inside me knew. Knew that you were important. Knew that saving you was the most important thing I'd ever do. That sounds like fate. I don't believe in fate. What do you believe in? Derek looked at Shadow. At the dog who'd been his constant companion for 5 years. Who'd taken bullets for him. Who'd followed him into hell and back. I believe in loyalty. In the people who show up when everything falls apart. In the bonds that form and fire and don't break even when everything else does. He looked at Tori. I believe in you. Tori leaned forward. Her lips met his, soft, gentle. A promise of things to come. Shadow's tail thumped against the floor. Approval. When they pulled apart, Tori was smiling through her tears. So what happens now? Derek smiled back. Now we build something. Together. A company? A family. Shadow barked weakly. Agreement. He was part of this family too. The most important part. Tori laughed and scratched his ears. What do you say, Shadow? Want to help us save the world? The dog's tongue lolled out. Absolutely. Derek leaned back and looked at the ceiling. 3 days ago, he'd been driving to a cabin to escape his demons. Broken. Lost. Drowning in guilt and grief. Now he had a purpose. A partner. A future. All because he'd stopped to help a stranger. All because a dog had barked in the night. All because sometimes the worst moments of your life became the beginning of something beautiful. 1 year later, Derek Hayes stood at the edge of the same cliff where it all began. The guardrail had been repaired. A small memorial plaque marked the spot. In memory of what was lost, and in celebration of what was found. Tori had insisted on it. Derek had thought it was sentimental. Now he understood. Some places needed to be honored. Some moments needed to be remembered. Shadow sat beside him, watching the valley below. The German Shepherd had fully recovered from his injuries. His tan and black coat was thick and healthy. His amber eyes were sharp. A few new scars, but that was okay. Warriors wore their scars with pride. You're doing that brooding thing again. Derek turned. Tori walked toward him, her wedding dress flowing in the mountain breeze. This time, the dress was different. Simple. Elegant. No bloodstains. No terror in her eyes. Just love. Pure, radiant love. I'm not brooding. I'm reflecting. Same thing with you. She took his hand. Having second thoughts? About marrying you? Never. About the ceremony being here? Derek looked at the cliff, at the ravine below, at the place where a limousine had crashed and burned. where he'd pulled a stranger from the flames, where his life had changed forever. This is exactly where it should be. Tori smiled. I thought so too. Marcus appeared from the tree line. The guests are getting restless. Something about the groom being AWOL. I'm not AWOL. I'm having a moment. Your moment is making the priest nervous.
Derek laughed. Fine, let's do this. They walked together toward the clearing where the ceremony would take place. 50 chairs arranged in neat rows. Friends, family, the team they built over the past year. Captain Sarah Reyes sat in the front row. She'd become a close friend after the Cole case. Her testimony had been crucial in securing convictions. William Cole, life in prison without parole. Jonathan Pierce, 45 years. Stephanie Cole, 30 years. The network was destroyed. The victims were avenged. Justice had been served. Marcus took his place as best man. Shadow positioned himself at Derek's side. The officiant had tried to object to the dog's presence. One look from Shadow changed his mind. Music started. Soft, gentle. The kind of music that made grown men cry. Derek didn't cry, but his throat got tight. Very tight. Tori appeared at the end of the aisle. She was beautiful. Not because of the dress, not because of the flowers, because of who she was. A survivor, a fighter, a woman who'd been knocked down and got back up stronger. She walked toward him, her father's absence a quiet ache. But she wasn't alone. She'd never be alone again. Derek reached for her hand as she stepped beside him. Hi. Hi yourself. You look beautiful. You look terrified. I've stormed enemy compounds. This is scarier. Tori laughed. The sound was music, better than any wedding march. The officiant began the ceremony. Standard words, traditional vows. But when it came time for the personal vows, Derek's heart pounded. He'd faced death countless times. This was harder. Tori, his voice was rough. A year ago, I was driving to this mountain to escape everything. My past, my pain, my ghosts. I'd given up on finding meaning in anything. He squeezed her hand. Then I saw your car go over that cliff, and something inside me woke up. Not duty, not training. Something deeper. He looked at Shadow. My partner sensed it too. He knew before I did that you were worth saving. That saving you would save me. Tori's eyes glistened. You've changed my life in ways I never imagined. You've shown me that it's possible to be strong and soft, to fight and love, to protect and be vulnerable. Derek's voice cracked. I spent 14 years learning to be a weapon. You taught me how to be human again.
And I will spend the rest of my life protecting you, loving you, and thanking God, or fate, or whatever brought us together that night. Tori wiped her eyes. My turn?
Please, I'm out of words. She laughed through her tears.
Derek, I was supposed to die a year ago. Jonathan planned everything. The accident, the insurance, the funeral. He had every detail figured out. Her voice hardened. What he didn't figure on was you.
A broken soldier on a mountain road who saw a car crash and didn't just call 911. He climbed down a cliff in the rain. He pulled a stranger from a burning wreck. He held her while the world exploded. She touched his face. That night, I thought my life was over. Instead, it was just beginning. You showed me what real love looks like. It looks like someone who runs toward danger instead of away from it. Someone who fights for you when you can't fight for yourself. Tori looked at Shadow. And it looks like a German shepherd who guarded me all night while I slept in a stranger's cabin. Who took bullets to protect our family.
who has more loyalty in one paw than Jonathan had in his entire body. Shadow's tail wagged. He knew he was being praised. Derek Hayes, you saved my life. But more than that, you gave me a reason to live it. I love you. Today, tomorrow, forever. The officiant smiled. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
You may kiss the bride. Derek pulled Tori close. The kiss was soft, tender, full of promise. Shadow barked, once, loud, celebrating with the only voice he had. The audience erupted in applause. Marcus wiped his eyes. Damn allergies! Reyes punched his shoulder. It's okay to cry, tough guy. I'm not crying. I'm expressing moisture. The reception was held at the cabin, the same cabin where Derek had brought Tori that first night. It had been renovated now, expanded, no longer a hideout, a home. Guests mingled, music played, laughter filled the air. Derek stood at the edge of the celebration, watching, taking it in. You're doing that thing again. Tori appeared beside him, champagne in hand. What thing? Standing on the outside, watching instead of participating. Old habits. You're not a soldier anymore, Derek. You're allowed to enjoy things. I am enjoying things. I'm enjoying watching you be happy. Tori leaned against him. I am happy. For the first time in years. Maybe ever. Even with everything that happened? Because of everything that happened. She looked up at him. My father always said that pressure creates diamonds. We've been through more pressure than most people experience in a lifetime. And look what we built. Derek thought about the past year. The company. The team. The lives they'd saved. Hayes Sinclair Security had grown beyond anything they'd imagined. 30 employees now. Veterans, mostly. People who understood trauma. People who knew how to protect without hurting. They'd helped dozens of families. Domestic abuse survivors. Whistleblowers targeted by powerful corporations. Witnesses in dangerous cases. People who'd been told they were alone. People who discovered they weren't. Your father would be proud, Derek said. He'd be prouder of the foundation. The Hayes Sinclair Foundation, Tori's passion project, pairing rescue dogs with veterans suffering from PTSD. Shadow had inspired it. Rescued animals helping rescued people, that was the motto. So far, they'd placed 50 dogs with 50 veterans. The results were remarkable. Reduced anxiety, better sleep, lives rebuilt. We've done good work, Derek agreed. We're just getting started. A small figure ran toward them. 3 years old, dark hair like her mother, eyes like her father. Daddy, Mommy, Shadow won't give me cake. Derek laughed. Shadow doesn't get to decide who gets cake. He growled at me. Derek looked at the German Shepherd. Shadow had positioned himself between the cake table and their daughter. Guard dog to the end. Shadow, stand down. The dog gave him a look. Are you sure? She can have cake. It's a wedding. Shadow stepped aside, reluctantly. Their daughter squealed and ran for the desserts. She has you wrapped around her finger, Tori said. She has everyone wrapped around her finger. Especially Shadow. Derek watched the dog follow their daughter to the cake table. Still protective. Still watching. Always watching. He's slowing down, Derek said quietly. Shadow was 8 now. Old for a working dog. The injuries from the coal fight had taken their toll. He moved slower, slept more. His muzzle was gray. I know. Tori's voice was soft. But he's happy, Derek. He has a family. A purpose. That's all any of us can ask for. What are we going to do when... We'll deal with it when it happens. Not before. Derek nodded. She was right. Borrowing trouble from the future was a waste of present joy. Marcus appeared with a fresh drink. Speech time, boss. I already did my vows. Those were vows. This is a toast. Different thing. Who made these rules? Wedding law. Very ancient, very binding. Derek sighed and took the microphone Marcus offered. The crowd quieted. 50 faces turned toward him, people who'd become family. I'm not good at speeches. I'm better at shooting things and looking intimidating. Laughter. But I've been told I have to say something meaningful, so here goes. He looked at Tori. 1 year ago, my life was a series of missions. Complete the objective. Move on. Don't attach. Don't feel. Don't let anyone in. He looked at Shadow. My partner here was the only exception. He'd been with me through everything, saved my life more times than I can count. But even that relationship was about combat, about survival. He turned to the crowd. Then I met Tori, and everything changed. His voice steadied. She taught me that strength isn't just about fighting. It's about building, about creating something that matters, about loving people even when it's terrifying. He raised his glass. To the woman who was supposed to die in a car crash but refused to give up. To the dog who sensed a soul worth saving. And to everyone here who believed in us when belief seemed impossible. To second chances, the crowd echoed. To second chances! Glasses clinked. The celebration continued. Later that night, Derek and Tori stood on the cabin porch. The guests had gone home. Their daughter was asleep. Shadow lay at their feet, breathing slow and steady. The stars blazed overhead. The same stars that had witnessed everything. Derek, yeah? Do you ever think about what would have happened if you hadn't stopped? What do you mean? That night, on the road, you could have kept driving, called 911 and let someone else handle it. No one would have blamed you. Derek thought about it. Really thought about it. I couldn't have kept driving, even if I'd wanted to. Shadow wouldn't have let me. The dog made you stop? The dog reminded me who I was supposed to be. Tori smiled. He's a good boy. The best. Shadow's tail thumped. He was awake. He'd been listening. He always listened. What about you? Derek asked. Do you ever think about what would have happened if Jonathan had succeeded? Tori was quiet for a moment. Sometimes, in dreams, I see the car going over the cliff. I feel the impact, the fire, the terror. She shuddered. But then I wake up, and you're there, and Shadow's there, and our daughter's in the next room. And I remember that I survived. She took his hand. I didn't just survive, Derek. I won. Jonathan is in prison. The company is thriving. I have a family who loves me. Everything he tried to take from me, I got back. Stronger. You're amazing. We're amazing. Together. Derek pulled her close. I love you, Mrs. Hayes. I love you too, Mr. Hayes. They stood together, watching the stars. 3 souls, bound by fate, forged by fire. Unbreakable. 5 years later, Shadow crossed the Rainbow Bridge. He went peacefully, in his sleep, surrounded by the family he'd protected his entire life. Derek held him as he took his last breath. Tori held Derek. Their daughter Lily, now 8, held Shadow's paw. Is he with the angels now, Daddy? Yeah, Princess. He's with the angels. Will he still protect us? Derek looked at his wife, at the life they'd built, at everything Shadow had made possible. Always. He'll always protect us. They buried him on the ridge overlooking the mountains, the same ridge where Derek had first seen Tori's car go over the cliff, the same place where everything had changed. A simple marker read, Shadow, Warrior, Guardian, Friend. He never stopped protecting his pack, Derek spoke the eulogy. 8 years ago, I walked into a military kennel and met a German shepherd who growled at everyone. The handler said he was difficult, aggressive, unbondable. He smiled through tears. I took him anyway, and he saved my life more times than I can count. He took bullets for me. He fought beside me in the worst places on earth. He was the best soldier I ever served with. His voice cracked. But what he did here, in these mountains, with this family, that was his greatest mission. He found Tori when she needed saving. He guarded Lily since the day she was born. He taught me how to love again. Derek wiped his eyes. Rest now, old friend. You've earned it. Lily placed flowers on the grave. Wild ones. Shadow's favorites. Tori added a stone, smooth and gray, like Shadow's eyes in certain light. Thank you, she whispered, for bringing us together, for keeping us safe, for everything. The family stood together, mourning, remembering, celebrating a life well lived. That night, Derek sat alone on the porch. The chair beside him was empty. Shadow's chair. Always empty now. I don't know if dogs go to heaven, he said quietly, but if there's any justice in the universe, you're running through fields right now. No pain, no limp, just pure joy. He wiped his eyes. Wait for me there, buddy. When my time comes, we'll run those fields together. A breeze stirred the wind chimes, and Derek could have sworn he heard a bark. Distant, familiar, waiting. Life continued, the way it always does. Lily grew, started school, made friends, talked about Shadow constantly, kept his memory alive with stories and drawings. Hayes Sinclair Security expanded, helped hundreds of families, employed dozens of veterans, became exactly what they dreamed it could be. The foundation grew too. 100 dogs placed with veterans now, lives saved, connections made, healing happening. And on the 5th anniversary of Shadow's passing, a new dog arrived at the foundation. A German Shepherd puppy, tan and black, bright amber eyes. Exactly like his grandfather. Lily named him Thunder. Because Shadow needs a friend in heaven, she explained. And Thunder will go there someday too. They'll be a team, like Daddy was. Derek laughed through tears. That's beautiful, Princess. Can he be my dog? Derek looked at Tori. She smiled. I think Shadow would approve. Thunder bounded into their lives, full of energy, full of joy. A reminder that love doesn't die. It just changes form, passes on, becomes something new. On a quiet evening, years later, Derek stood at Shadow's grave with Thunder by his side. The puppy wasn't a puppy anymore. He was grown, trained, a working dog like his namesake. You'd be proud of him, Derek said. He's got your spirit, your loyalty, your stubbornness. Thunder barked, taking it as a compliment. We did it, buddy. Everything we dreamed of, the company, the foundation, the family. He looked at the cabin, at the lights in the windows, at the silhouettes of his wife and daughter, at the life that had grown from tragedy. You saved us, Shadow, not just from the fire, from ourselves, from the darkness that was consuming us. A tear slipped down his cheek. Thank you for choosing me, for following me, for never giving up, even when everything seemed lost. Thunder pressed against his leg, the same gesture Shadow used to make. Comfort, connection, pack. Derek smiled. Come on, boy. Let's go home. They walked together toward the cabin, the same cabin where it had all started, where a broken soldier had found purpose, where a terrified bride had found safety, where a loyal dog had found a family. Some stories end with explosions. This one began with one. The car exploded mysteriously on a rainy mountain road. Everyone thought Victoria Sinclair died that night. But a Navy SEAL who had lost his faith found her in the flames. A German shepherd who had survived war sensed her fear. And together, they didn't just save her life. They built a new one. Jonathan Pierce wanted her dead so he could steal her fortune. Instead, he spent 45 years in prison, watching everything he'd tried to take flourish without him. William Cole thought he could destroy a soldier and escape justice. Instead, his network crumbled, and he died in a cell, alone and forgotten. The monsters lost. The warriors won. And the dog who started it all became a legend. Not for the battles he won, not for the bullets he took, but for the love he gave, the family he protected, the lives he changed. Derek Hayes had spent 14 years learning to destroy. Shadow taught him how to build, and that made all the difference. Some endings are really beginnings in disguise. This was one of them. The explosion was supposed to be the end. Instead, it was the start of everything worth living for.